Hey everyone, I am re-recording this because for whatever reason it did not capture my voice very well the first time, so let's do this again. Here I am talking about the four teaching strategies I chose for Module 7. I based these around a project I did last year in my Spanish class. I'm a Spanish high school teacher at UST 331, and it involved the class reading a book, and then we acted out that book after we finished reading it. So my four teaching strategies were obviously based around instructor-centered, interactive, individualized, and experiential. The first one I chose was pre-teach vocabulary. I thought this was a good way to introduce the book to the kids, a good way to teach important phrasing, important words, a lecture-based teaching strategy, which I thought went right along with the instructor-centered. There's not a lot of thinking involved for the children. It's mostly me talking about the book before we go ahead and delve into it. So, like I said, I thought this was an appropriate introduction for the students. So I might maybe teach them a couple of words that we're going to encounter frequently in the book. My second lesson or strategy was the small group guided discussion. I chose this for obvious reasons. Obviously, it is a lot more interactive than my lecture-based lesson. It gives them a little bit of autonomy. They can begin to talk about the book amongst their peers. And students at varying levels are able to share different points of view about the book, which I feel is important. My third teaching strategy was individualized conferencing. I did this last year, and I thought this is a great way for me to get to know my students a bit better. I gave them a slight little assessment that they had to do, and involved them reading a couple of lines from the book of their choosing. And from there, I kind of gave them feedback. I told them what they pronounced well, what they need to work on. So it was a great way for me to provide some one-on-one feedback to the student that they might not necessarily get with other teaching strategies. So I thought that's definitely the highlight of the individualized conferencing. And finally, after we finish reading the book, we go ahead and act it out as a story, which it goes right up experiential teaching strategies alley. Um, so here we have the students act out a part of the story. We use physical movement to demonstrate and improve comprehension of the story. So here I was lucky that my classroom already had a small little stage in the corner for whatever reason. I guess, for stuff like this. And it also has a lot of props. It has a lot of just different stuff you can use to create plays, such as clothes, accessories, a lot of props, just random stuff like, mirrors and jewelry and that kind of thing. So after finishing the story, this is a great way for the students um, to tell the story in a different perspective, right? So to take what we learned in class and kind of act it out in a somewhat real world scenario. So those are my four teaching strategies.